Well, hello, my little puppy friend. It's me, Sahara, with FYI Sahara YouTube. This is an interesting subject. As you know, I've done astrology all my life, and I found one thing that puzzled me so much, and I'm not kidding, it took me 25 years to figure this out. Why was it that some charts were easier than others? You maybe looked at a few charts and you found out that it was like little like minestrone soup. A little this and a little of that equals a certain thing. However, I was finding certain charts that were easier, i.e. an easier life, versus difficult with whatever roadblocks Maya could throw into it. And Maya is a Hindu term for this world of illusion, and that it is. So, after studying like a zillion, and you don't have to study it for that long, it just nobody ever pointed it out to me. I think I learned it along the way in studying astrology. I was told about detrimented planets, exalted planets, and things like that, and I thought that was immediately boring. So I had to learn the hard way, as Capricorns often do. My husband used to say to me, "Why do it the easy way when you can do it the hard way?" And sometimes Capricorns were slow and prodding, but this I wanted to learn right away. Tell me all the cool stuff. I looked up at the sky and said, "Tell me all the cool stuff that I need to know." Like when I was young, when am I going to get married? Which I did pick out, by the way, and the right man, the right place. Now, my dear honey is passed into spirit, but I have learned a few things along the way. One was upside down charts. Yes, a chart can be upside down, and about 2 years ago, I did the chart of Richard SPECK. He was a mass murderer. I believe it was the 60s. And he broke into a nursing student's dormitory and he killed a whole bunch of young nurses. You know, of course, that's a terrible tragedy. And in those days, that was big news. Nowadays, in America, unfortunately, it is hardly even news anymore. The tragedy goes on. And I'm sure these people that have committed these atrocities have charts like this. And I'm going to show you first, and I'll be sure to attach Richard Speck's chart because it's so very obvious. So hold on 1 second and let me get my second cousin's chart, who was a mental disaster from the start. And do I need to look at mental disasters? No. However, it's good to know because I learned it the hard way. So I could observe this person from early childhood to adulthood, and what a mess. I'm going to show you why. And you know what? The most positive thing is, what do you do if you have a combination like this? And I'll show you the combination that's so very difficult and also show you a way to resolve it. It's not easy, but it can be resolved. And you have to be someone that's proactive in life. Like, I don't want to live a crummy life. Show me how to make it better. That's a normal and healthy response. This person is Libra rising. That was my first mistake. Libra. They love love and beauty in art, in music. They're delightful to talk to. That was my first mistake. And that's true about Libras. They're wonderful. Unless you have stuff in the first house and Libra rising. If you have Libra somewhere else, that's different. But the opposite sign, the natural chart, is Aries rising. When you first learn astrology, you're going to learn Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc. And you're going to get over to here, and this is Libreville. I call it Libreville. Nice place. However, when Libreville visits Ariesville, there's fireworks. Nothing could be more opposite than Libra in Aries. Those things don't go together well. So my dear husband had Venus in Aries, and I won't tell you the problems he had and what area of life he had problems in, maybe another YouTube. It was a problem. However, Libra rising. Libra does not belong in Aries house. Just that simple. You're going to have everything. I had a friend that was a triple Libra. Libra rising, Libra sun in the first house, and Libra moon. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't you think what a harmonious and lovely person? Someone that gets married and grows flowers and plays the piano. She had that in her. But Aries wants to be free. Leave me alone. Let me do my own thing. And they want to. You know what Aries says? A good image for Aries is Don Quixote. He rushes off on a horse with a lancet, and he charges windmills, and he says, "Follow me. I don't know where I'm going, but it's going to be fun." And that's Aries. So, unfortunately, before I found my dear Pisces husband, I dated a few Aries men. Well, needless to say, it was just always a disaster. And that's when I started learning astrology. Aries is all over the place. They're amusing, they're fun, but don't marry them. And if you're Aries, calm down. But what if you're peaceful, loving, partner loving? I love people, love life. I'm going to sing you a song, dance, paint you a picture. You put it in this house, it's fire and water. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, that's kind of challenging. What she had to do, we'll call her Lou Ann. What she had to do was move west. Let me think if that's how it goes. I learned relocation astrology, 4 things that, one moment I have to calculate. Yeah, she lived on the East Coast. If you move west, your sun goes down here. And you want to check that out, try relocation astrology, and you put your Virgo sun in the first house. It's okay in the first house. It's okay, especially good in the second house, because this is an earth sign. Earth and earth. Very good combination. But Virgo, I want you to think about Virgo. Virgo's house is over here, the 6th house. This is the 12th house. You will note they are natural opposites. So here you have a Virgo sun, okay, in a Pisces house. It doesn't work out well. I had a couple of Gemini friends that also had, they were Geminis in the 12th house. Not quite as challenging, but a challenge. One of the Gemini women that I knew learned astrology, and she moved. I hope wherever she is, she's happy. It was a good thing to do, because you're going to be so torn, mutable, this is Virgo, this is Pisces house. That's all pretty simple. You know, sometimes it's sorry for the bouncing tripod. Um, I guess that's okay now. Um, you're going to find that when you have a cardinal house and you put something cardinal rising on the ascendant, you start to have problems. The next problematic sign here was Cancer. Cancer just didn't go well with I want to do my own thing. Aries. And you know what? If I remember my triple Leo friend who was married over and over and over, it was always a train wreck. She finally went crazy. She really was. She ended up in an asylum. And I'm thinking, really? She has all this talent. She could sing and play the piano and paint, but it all went because I want to be free and I'm a Libra. I need a partner. So she married and didn't get really pissed that she was tied down. Aries was coming out. And then she divorced. I don't know where she is to this day. She really did get locked up. And I'm thinking, how can that be? Her chart wasn't that bad. She did have Pluto go over her ascendant or something along those lines. Let's see, where's Pluto nowadays? Oh, yeah. Well, anyhow, a progressed Pluto, sorry. And she went cuckoo, and I always said, you know, that was starting to make me curious. And then I dated a Libra man. Oh, that's nice. They love marriage. They love people. He'd been married 3 times. There was a red flag. He was charming. He liked the tango. He liked all the things I liked, all the books I liked, all the philosophies I liked. What could go wrong with this? He was a Libra. He was a double Libra. And so all of his Libra planets were down here and in the Cancer house. I thought, well, that's nice. He liked the family, yada, yada, yada. He has Cancer light rising. That just didn't go out. This is a cardinal sign naturally, and you throw another cardinal sign on top of it. It's not as rough as a Libra, however, it's roughy toughy. Other people I've known, the other cardinal sign, of course, is Capricorn, and I have known some Capricorn people with Capricorn rising. They do a little better. Maybe it's because Mars is exalted in Capricorn. They do better, but it's still roughy toughy. And you're better off to move from your birthplace, which will change your rising sign. And, you know, you can decide, you're going to have the same stuff. It's just going to move around. I've always thought of relocation as being something where it's like you have a house, the house is going to remain the same, but if you move all the furniture around, it feels different. I know it is, but it isn't. So that was what I learned about upside down charts. Oh, let me finish with Luann. Virgo, wrong house. What else does she have? You know, Libra planets in the Aries house. You have, I think Scorpio, Mars, Scorpio, Mars. Scorpio belongs over here. Jupiter in Sagittarius. What could be nicer than that? It's in its home sign, except Jupiter and Sagittarius belong up here in the 9th house. And so it was this way with her moon. Her moon is Aquarius. That's nice. You love people or whatever, higher learning, yada yada. So, but this is the Aquarius house over here, up here, not here in a Leo house. So it goes. She had Leo planets here, you know. So and this is the 11th house. So what you have is everything is misplaced in the wrong houses. You had a few that got to slip over into something that was more harmonious. I found that all the signs, as long as they're not a cardinal house sign, like if you put Virgo here, nothing better than Leo, because Leo is the fire sign you take. Leo, put it here on the star of the show. They're both fire signs. They get along well with each other. So I will attach Richard SPECK's chart. Take a look at it. It was This did happen a long time ago. I think it will help you a lot because I didn't have to go through the rotten boyfriend. And I was misled. I do astrology. I should know more than I do, but you never really do. I have the boyfriend who's Libra, nothing nicer, as Cancer rising. He loved his family, but he kept getting married all the time. Things just didn't work out, and he was just batshit crazy. So it was just hard. Everything, all his cardinal planets were in juxtaposing cardinal houses. And there's a cure. It's relocation. It's not that hard to learn. There's something, see, you might have looked at astrology and looked at all the aspects, and you're like, oh God, all the math, and you have to learn midpoints, progressions. It can get complicated, as I did. When it was all said and done, I just knew friggin' everything. And except I ignored that one warning sign when I started learning with my first teacher who taught me about the exalted planets, the ones in the fall, and they're good to know. And if you start having a lot of that pop up, those planets, it's like, think of like if you're wearing clothes that are too tight, or you go to a party and you're in jeans and everybody's in a hot cocktail dress, well, actually that would be okay with me, but you're out of place. These planets are out of place. So is Richard SPECK. So is my disastrous boyfriend and my triple Libra friend who ended up in the nut house. Sadly, she's a nice person. She had everything going for her. What couldn't she do? Cook, sing, dance, all the things that Libras are so good at. She was very good at getting married over and over. And I kept saying, what is the problem? So you can have good aspects, bad aspects, but you can move it around if you learn relocation astrology, and you could avoid some of the bumps and potholes in life. Also, you might have someone in your life that you're counting on, like a boss or a friend, and you're like, what keeps going wrong here? And you're going to draw up a chart. You're going to find Libra on the rise, on the ascendant, or Cancer. And the third worst is Capricorn. Does a little better. I guess it's a more grounded sign, but and you start to learn when a planet is in the wrong sign. Like, for instance, Pluto. Pluto's in let me see. Sorry, I can't see it well. In Leo. It's charming. What's wrong with that? Wrong house. Pluto's not doing very well in the 11th, in the house of Leo. Leo's in the wrong house. Leo belongs down here. So you're going to find that when things are square and opposite their natural home, they're going to be out of sorts. When you have a whole chart with everything out of sorts, it doesn't bode well for the individual. Though the funny thing with my friend, with my second cousin, I was a professional astrologer out west, and I get a call from a woman, and she's like, "Oh, I need help quick." And she told me her birth time, and it was the same as Luann's, but it was a little different. She had Cancer rising, and everything was the same. She even had a little girl with the same name as my cousin had a little girl. There were so many similarities. My jaw just dropped. I said, "Oh, honey, you got to come in here right away." She said, "No, I'm afraid my husband's so violent. I'm scared. If he finds out I'm reaching out for help, he'll hurt me." And I was like, "Oh, God, that's just like Luann's husband. He was just, a braggart and a bully." And she had to get away. Luann had to get away from him, and she ended up with kids and a bad husband. That can be bad combination. So that young woman, as distressed as she was, I wished her luck, but I did say, "Please, meet me for lunch. Anything. Just you don't have to tell him I do astrology. Just I'm a friend." She says, I'm afraid," and she hung up the phone. Well, I don't know what happened to her, and I just, she was starting to look. Apparently, she decided to look to an astrologer for help. If she couldn't get out the door from a repressive relationship, and she had a boy and a girl, just like my cousin. It was astounding. Same birthday, same time. It's just a little different in the birth time. If she started looking and studying, even on her own, off in a closet from the bully husband, she might have figured out what to do, which is called get away as fast as you can. And maybe she could have avoided that whole situation in the first place. So, young lady in San Antonio, I don't know what happened to you, dear. I hope you're studying astrology and you got away from the bully, as did Luann. But she just went on to another disaster and her whole life turned into a disaster. And maybe it didn't have to be that way. I could have told her to just friggin' move. She could have moved out west. If you're out west, move east. Just change the setup with the right. I did. I changed my location, and I moved so that I have some good planets in my first house. Everything got better. So maybe I could do a YouTube on that. My health, my situation, my happiness level. It doesn't solve everything, but it changed a lot of things. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope this helps you in your studies. Even if you're just beginning, you can spot a problem, and what's even better, you can do something about it. So I love you all. When you need guidance, do like my grandfather told me when I was a little girl. He was a navigator, and he liked to go out into the sea in his boat. And he told me, and once we went out in the boat, we're fishing. He said, if you're ever lost, honey, look up at the North Star. In fact, look at the stars. It will always guide you home. So I did. I did just that. Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you for the good advice. I'm still looking up to find my way home. Thank you all. I love you. Like and subscribe if you want more. If you, I can't continue making YouTubes without some more subscriptions. I'm getting lots of good views, but I need subscriptions because life is short. I can move on. So, but I do love you and I wish you all the luck in the world in your studies.